At this juncture, it should be noted that the recruitment of a Director General for the Institute was being pursued.
The launch of a board to shape standards and ensure excellence is rather well timed amid targeted goals geared towards the quest to align the Institute's programs to the tourism courses being offered at the University of the Gambia. Students leaving the school with higher national diplomas will eventually make effortless entry into the university to pursue full-time degrees in tourism and hospitality.
So I take this opportunity to call all the players in the industry and the stakeholders to look deep into the processes within their organizations and those processes that can be outsourced to the Institute to challenge the Institute and her management to deliver the services and the expected services.
Members of the new board who pledged commitments to advance the Institute's development were later taken through a conducted tour of the entire school grounds, containing all essential facilities and infrastructure to train the future workers of the tourism industry. From the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, officials moved on to the Gambia Tourism Board, substituting the former Tourism Authority. An unceasing pursuit to augment the gains of the tourism sector has spurred this establishment on a vigorous drive to raise the profile of Destination Gambia. The new authority comes with a new board which has Mr. Bakari Kewa Jame as its chairman alongside 7 others tasked with the job of ensuring that dynamism and quality reigns within the huge sector employing the highest measure of the country's population.
In order that the assistance provided by the Spanish government could be further bolstered in the years ahead. In this vein, agreement was reached with the World Bank that the salary and other benefits of the Director General will be paid for by the World Bank for the next 2 years under the Gambia's Growth and Competitiveness Project. Towards this end, a selection of the Director General has already been made and the signature of a contract with him is awaiting World Bank's approval. It is envisaged that once approval is granted by the bank, the Director General will arrive in Banjul before the end of this year. Distinguished board members, the first task of the Director General, working with the Chairman of the Board of Directors and other faculty staff, will be to put in place a new curricula that will respond to the needs of the institution in terms of running a diploma and a higher national diploma program.
It's the progression of a fresh tourism strategy meant to heighten the industry's level to world-class standards amid increasing competition from destinations seeking to capture the better population of willing travelers around the world. The Smiling Coast has emerged as the leading brand on the continent, attracting scores of visitors coming to taste the joy of unforgettable breaks. Yet officials understand that it will take a great list of resolute endeavors to keep up and reinforce the pace of tourism development in the Gambia. Ibrahim Jata, Grts.
Well, over 1,000 volunteers have descended on President Jammeh's Dasalame farms in response to the Vice President's appeal for assistance in harvesting the President's rice farms in the West Coast region. As Abubakar Kamara reports, the public response was triggered by the desire to attain the country's food self-sufficiency drive, spearheaded by the President.
They disembarked in their multitude in response to President Jammeh's back to the land call.
President, His Excellency Sir Professor Haji A.J. Jammeh, who is a farmer by example in the whole sub-region, has requested people to try to cultivate their own foodstuff that they can use for their own living. And also in that line, he was also able to get farms all over the country. And here, Dasalame is also no exception to those farms.
They constitute a good constituent of the West Coast region and have constantly applied themselves in the country's food self-sufficiency drive, inspired by prudent leadership that continue to guide their ambitions.
Today, the people of Combo North, Combo South, Central, we are out in numbers to come and help ourselves. Because helping the president, I think people is saying we are helping the president, but we are helping ourselves. Because we all know this great man is full of ambition for humanity.
Thousands and thousands of women across the district. We have women from Combo South, we have a lot of women from Combo Central, Combo North, etc. We are all here today to participate in the harvesting of this rice field.
Speaker upon speaker expressed their renewed commitment to grow more of what we eat and live by the dictates of the Gambian leader who continue to lead the initiative by example. How will this enhance President Jammeh's call for Gambians to go back to the land?
This was what he was looking for. From 1994
all he has been talking about is where we are today. And I'm happy Gambians have understood very well what he was saying. And I think this year will go a long way to help fight the food problem.
Why the response?
We are part of the nation building, and this is why we are here. And it's not the first time of us coming here. I led a group of Manjagos, almost about 100 and something who are here.
I thank Almighty Allah for giving me this opportunity to be here with the women of my area, you know, who definitely responded on the president call back to the land.
Their positive response to food self-sufficiency continue to be graced by their numbers, forming a significant part of Back to the Land call, with aim of keeping hunger at bay.
They are all working very hard here. You know, I'm really impressed. I'm very, very much impressed.
Babakar Kamara, GRTS.
Well, time now to take our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at more news. Stay tuned in.
The world in your pocket.
The world on your mobile.
Get the latest top stories from all over the world directly from Al Jazeera Network straight to your AfriCell line. Breaking news,
political news,
and sport news.
Be the first to get the latest on everything happening around the world by SMS on your AfriCell line.
To subscribe, type SUB and send it by SMS to 7272.
And stay up to date with the latest news from Al Jazeera Network.
All the latest news stories and headlines from across the globe.
For $1 per day, only on your AfriCell line.
Welcome back to the news. Former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan has expressed disappointment in the failure of both parties in the Syrian conflict to observe a 4-day ceasefire in honor of the Muslim feast of Eid al-Adha. Annan's remarks follows the bombing of Jalamana, a town outside Damascus, where 11 people were killed. As we hear in this report, the Syrian envoy Lakhdar Ibrahimi has vowed to continue his mediation efforts to help the country regain peace. Well, we go to the next international story, and we will bring you the one on Syria later in the news or during the 10 o'clock news. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was in Algeria, where she held talks with President Abdelaziz Bouteflika on the crisis in Mali. Algeria is one country that is not keen on military intervention in northern Mali, where Islamists hold away. We have details in the CFI report.
Hillary Clinton's one-day visit to Algeria on Monday, very little came out of her meeting with President Bouteflika. Although officially this visit did not have a set agenda, the U.S. Secretary of State did discuss the possibility of Algeria supporting an intervention plan in Mali.
The region and beyond. And we have agreed to continue with in-depth expert discussions to work together bilaterally and with the region, along with the United Nations and the African Union and ECOWAS, to determine the most effective approaches that we should be taking.
Algerian authorities, however, did not comment on this meeting. Long time opposed to any interventions, Algeria has begun to budge a little on its position. Authorities admit that at present an intervention could be considered so long as the envoy is made up by African forces. For the United States, it's not exactly a green light, but the main hope was to avoid any opposition from Algeria. For a long time, Washington has played a discreet role in the Sahel region. However, it is now taking a more active role to fight back against al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb.
Our approach is to make sure that al-Qaeda and elements of al-Qaeda have no place to hide. We've gone after al-Qaeda wherever they are, whether it's in the Fatah, whether it's in Yemen, whether it's in Somalia, and whether they're in North Africa.
A new meeting will be held in a few days to plan the ECOWAS intervention. Since March, Mali has essentially been cut into two. All that is left now is to set a date for the intervention. Although France is hoping for a quick response, both Algiers and Washington want to take their time.
Well, Superstorm Sandy has hit the U.S. state of New Jersey and overnight raged through Manhattan and Connecticut, leaving 16 deaths in its rail and millions in darkness. President Barack Obama has declared a major disaster in New York and New Jersey